Hey, everybody, what's up? What's up? This is, let me try to get this way. As you probably can tell, I'm not Adrian. So little cameo here on the on Adrian's Profit Power Hour. Just say hey in the questions box if you can see me. I see JC Lynn. You are always on my webinars, so see lots and lots of people in here. Very cool. Awesome. Very good to see all of you and talk to all of you tonight. As you know, I am, well, some of you may not know, I'm Adrian's brother, Anthony, and you'll probably see that the background is not an office. This is my house. Adrian is actually in, Adrian is in Vegas right now at Affiliate Summit, meeting with Shopify, trying to get some deals done that I think will benefit all of our e-commerce students. You know, Adrian has a great relationship with Shopify, always has, and we're able to get some things. You know, Shopify is a big company, public company, so there's a lot of hoops to jump through, if you will, in order to get some stuff, you know, approved. But we've been working really hard on some solutions to some of the most common problems, or I would say less problems, issues, obstacles that you guys have running your stores. And so Adrian's been there, I think for like 3 days, and he'll be coming back home tomorrow or the next day, I think. He was able to leave the state of Mississippi the one day that we've had a freeze where the roads were iced and you can go nowhere. You must sit in your home. Literally the first day, I don't even know, 5 years, that's 6 years that's happened. So Adrian planned his escape nicely. So he's been there with Shopify, and so he can't get on the computer. You guys know when you travel, it's just really difficult. The time zone is different, and then also he's got meeting after meeting after meeting with some of the higher ups at Shopify that are going to help with a multitude of things, not just not just running just your store. And so he asked me to jump on, give you 2 updates, and then I'm going to give you a third one that he doesn't even know I'm talking about, right? Because hey, he turned his whole entire event over to me, so I feel like I should be able to kind of improv, right? So the first thing he told me to tell you is that he's going to be focused next week on the Profit Power Hour. His main focus is going to be on the upcoming holiday, which is obviously going to be Valentine's Day. This is a great, and I have seen people myself absolutely crush it during this particular holiday, because if there is one holiday where men are going to spend money, it is this one, right? It may actually be even better than Christmas and all of those things, because I can tell you from experience too. Men are going to spend money. Now, women spend money too, but men are definitely going to spend money. So he's going to be focused on helping you guys create the offer on your site with Shineon that he thinks is going to do the best this year for Valentine's Day. Are all of you working with Shineon? Yes, or at least familiar with Shineon? Just give me a yes in the chat box if you are. Okay. Very good. So Shineon is a plugin and an app that you can use if you're not working with Shineon yet. Adrian will show you how to work with them. It's very simple. We actually had the founder of Shineon in our office for our mastermind, for our e-com experience mastermind, and it was man, it was such an eye-opening experience to listen to him talk about some of the things that people buy and why they buy them, and the things that you probably never even thought of. It's people's buying tendencies, right? And that's what you really need to be studying when you have an e-commerce store. You've got a lot of different holidays and little things that you can really jump on. But there are some things that I just never in a million years thought that people would be buying, but they're buying it on a daily basis. Like it's some of the hottest things. And that's one of the, one of the, obviously the perks of our e-commerce mastermind. It's here in Mississippi and sometimes in Florida, is getting to sit down with the founder and literally log in and look at, like, here are the live orders and here are why these orders are coming in. And so we've had the ability to kind of ask him, hey, what do you see trending for this Valentine's Day, right? And so I think that's going to be a really good session with Adrian. He'll do this next week to help you prepare for the Valentine's Day, sales. And I think you'll be able to do really well with that. It's also not always just jewelry either, as a lot of you I see saying jewelry. Jewelry is obviously a big thing, but it's not the only thing. And I think that's what'll surprise you and what'll shock you and what'll really be, eye-opening. And it's why you should join these sessions with Adrian every week, right? Because you're always, what's I think so interesting about e-commerce is you're just one product away from mega success, right? It's all about testing and finding that one product that's going to just explode, on the market. And that's something that, as long as you're on your site, you're on your store, and you're doing this on a daily basis and you're testing, you have a great opportunity to find. I'll tell you real quickly, I started in e-commerce, and I'm not selling anything. I don't have anything to sell to you or anything like that. So I can kind of give you some earnings information. I will also tell you that I am stating these earnings simply to give you context for what is possible. I am not in any way, shape, or form stating that you are going to make this kind of money, and I am not telling you this story so that I may sell you something and you will remember this story and think, oh, Anthony didn't, and buy something. Okay, are we all good with that? These days, I just want to be as careful as possible that I'm not giving you any kind of false claims, but I would like to explain to you, just to open your mind, right? When I first started in e-commerce, I built my very first e-commerce store. It was a nightmare. It cost me north of $10,000 to build. It was nowhere near as good as Shopify, nowhere near as easy as just do this plugin. You had to build everything from scratch. And my first store was selling car parts. Now, I had a very niched down store. I only sold car parts for Ford Mustangs. And then not only that, I only sold car parts for Ford Mustangs the year 1996 and up, right? That's why I've got the gray hair, because 1996, think about that, long time ago. But if you think about it, I had this very small niche market, like super, super, super niche. I was able to find buyers for that niche much easier than I would have if I was trying to sell everything under the sun. And the reason is because my brain was focused on find buyers for this one specific thing, right? Instead of, okay, I got to find buyers for cell phone cases, and I got to find buyers for these special pins, and I got to find buyers for whatever this thing is, and I got to find buyers for all these things. And what happens is you get so many different things that you never actually find the buyers, because you're not diving into who are the buyers, where are they at, what is the avatar? Is it somebody young or old? Is it somebody male or female? Is it somebody, black, white, Asian? Is it somebody from North America, or is it somebody from Canada? Like, there's just so many different, we call them avatars, right? Types of people. And so when you're trying to sell a million different things, that becomes a little bit harder. Why is Valentine's Day a lot easier? Real simple. You can target, I'm not saying you can't target ads to women, but you target men, okay? It's just simple, like very easy, men. And it doesn't matter if they're single or if they're married or whatever, they're probably gonna buy something for their mom, or they're gonna buy something for their sister, or they're gonna buy something for their child, or they'll buy something for their wife or their girlfriend or whatever. So you just target men. And you've got that kind of focus, right? Car parts, for me anyway, allowed me to have that focus year round. I was able to focus on this one thing all year round, and I focused on finding my buyers. And I built that business to north of, I think it was, and forgive me, it's been a very long time. I'm pretty sure I was north of 300,000, 350,000. You know, when I was doing it, I didn't know I'd be talking about it 20 years later. So I didn't, you know, I don't remember, but it was $200,000-300,000 a month, right? I was making a lot of money in an extremely small niche market. I was telling friends about it, telling people about it, always talking about it because I was shocked. I mean, you know, I didn't know I was gonna make that kind of money. And I remember I told one of my buddies, he was a year older than me, went to high school with me. His name's Xan Barksdale. And I was just telling him that, you know, he followed my story, right? Read my book, followed my story. And a couple years later, he messages me and says, hey man, I did $100,000 this year with my e-commerce store. Thanks for, you know, guidance and help and all this. I'm like, well, what do you sell? Guys, you can look him up, Xan Barksdale, Xan. He sells products to baseball catchers, just catchers, like legitimately the catcher. That's the smallest, like if you take a baseball team, if you're selling something that all hitters use, well, you've got a lot of people in each baseball team that hit. If it's all pitchers, you've got a lot of people that are pitchers. If it's outfielders, but when you're selling to catchers, you're literally talking about like 2 on a baseball team, right? 2 people out of an entire team that would buy the thing that you have. And yet he built a business selling what he called a catcher's thumb. It's literally a piece of, I don't know if it's plastic, but plaster or whatever that goes over your thumb so that when you put your mitt on and a fastball hits you right here, it doesn't cause you any damage right here on your hand. It doesn't hurt your hand and end up causing you problems. He sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of this one product to this one super micro niche, right? So the reason that I think it's important to be on these calls with Adrian, and the reason I tell you that you're like one product away from really crushing it is you really are, right? If you continue to think outside the box, you continue to put products on your store, you continue to find the niche, and a lot of times it's finding niches that you're interested in. How many of you shop online? Just give me a yes in the chat box if you shop online, you buy stuff online, right? Okay, so lots of you say yes. Try to find a way to sell the things that you are buying. And I'll explain to you why. Because if you are selling the stuff that you are buying, then you know exactly who your audience is. You know what their age is, you know what their gender is, you know what their tendencies are, you know what their likes or dislikes are, you know where they congregate, where they are online, whether it's, you know, different Reddit forums or different message boards or whatever the case may be, like you know where those people are, right? And so it's very easy to sell to people when you are the buyer of that product. You know, Xan was he was a catcher, so he knew where catchers hung out. He knew how to talk to catchers. I had a Ford Mustang, so I knew how to find people that were interested in Ford Mustang parts, right? And I knew their mindset. I knew that they would sell anything in order to buy a part for their car to make it go 1 millisecond faster, right? So finding the customers is easy once you niche down and you find a very specific niche that you're interested in. Now, I know Adrian tells you start with general stores, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because what it does is it does give you the opportunity to try new things. But once you find something that hits, right, you can then create focus on the thing that actually hits. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes? And you look at big moments in our, I guess, daily lives right now. What can anybody tell me the biggest thing that's happening this year? Just put it in the questions box. You should have a little chat. We should have lots of people. So there's hundreds of people on here, so we should have lots of people saying yes. Because I'm literally not hanging out with my wife right now in order to hang out with you, even though this is not my webinar series. Okay, so I see a lot of people saying election. You're right. This year we have a mega election, right? We get this opportunity every 4 years. What can you create? What can you tap into that leverages the politics, right? In order to be able to win? Can you create a shirt with what is it? There's so many different, well, there's a ton of print on demand shirt things. I don't know which one Adrian recommends, so I won't say anything, but there's Pillow Profits where you can, print on pillows, and you can print on all kinds of things, right? Well, think about this. People are very passionate about their politics, right? Very passionate. And Facebook doesn't allow political ads about politics. It doesn't mean that you can't put a shirt up that is indicative of politics. You got to be savvy. You got to be, creative, think outside the box, right? What can I put on a t-shirt that's print on demand that I can sell that leverages, the politics during the election? Also, you don't have to say Republican or Trump or any of that. Imagery does the trick, right? So finding ways to leverage big movements and big things that are happening right now gives you a higher click-through rate, so therefore a lower cost per click, which ends up creating a higher profit margin, right? So be thinking about that, because you have the year to really focus on that and to think on that, right? And so I think that there's a lot of opportunity. It's just a matter of you guys really thinking outside the box and not trying to make it a one size fits all thing, not trying to say, okay, well, every product has to come from this one place and we have to do this one thing and that's all we can do. You know what I mean? There's opportunity there if you just tap into it and you work through it, right? So hopefully that makes sense. And the top trending products, I mean, Adrian's always going to be telling you that. He's always going to be pushing those over to. He's always going to be helping you with that. So make sure that you get on, the Profit Power Hour every week and just chime in. Stay. What I've found is that you have to do things every day in order to truly buy into what's necessary in order for you to be successful. I proof positive with working out. Some of you know me from years ago, right? And then some of you obviously you don't. But three years ago I was 130 pounds. The idea that I would ever reach 185 pounds, which is what I weigh now, seemed insane. It seemed like there's absolutely no way. I don't even look like the same person. But what I did was I bought into every single day doing a little something, right? So that it became a way of life. It became part of who I am instead of part of what I was doing, right? It truly became part of who I am. You want being a e-commerce store owner and being an internet marketer to become part of who you are. And that's when you really are able to take what you're doing to another level. That's when you're able to see through the fog. That's when you're able to take something and you see things that you would have never seen before, because all of a sudden it's just part of who you are. It's what you do, right? It's not the thing that you set aside to do 1 hour a week. So if you want to have massive success with this, the best advice I can give you is buy in every day be doing something, right? So that you're training your brain and training yourself to truly be immersed in this. And then make sure you don't miss Adrian's webinars, because he jumps on here and he gives you great advice and great training every single week, and has been doing it now. I think I started my Success Connection 8 years ago. So he probably started this 7 years ago, give or take. And there's there's an abundance of just free education that that you're getting from him, right? And so it makes no sense to not be on here and listen to it, right? It's somebody who's spending his time, listening to Shopify, trying to make deals with Shopify. And look, sure, we do some of those things because in some ways they're profitable for us, but in a lot of ways they're not. We try to create all kinds of opportunities that make us no money. It's just we know it's going to help the community more. And so we put the time and effort into trying to do it. Everything is not always about how many dollars do I get out of this one activity, right? It's about trying to create the best program, the best opportunity that we possibly can, and create the best community that we can. for e-commerce. And so hopefully you guys have enjoyed being a part of it. So again, sorry that Adrian was not able to be here. It is for good cause though. I think anytime you get a chance to sit in the room with the main people at Shopify, which is very hard to do, you take that opportunity and you go do it, because there's a lot of good that can come from it for the rest of this year. And so I think it's time well spent. So make sure that you guys jump back on next week. Adrian will be going through some of what he would do, okay, for Valentine's Day, utilizing Shineon and really dialing into this particular niche that's coming up, which is Valentine's Day, and kind of showing you some tweaks and things that you can do to your stores to prepare for it and also to profit from it. Sound good? It's gonna be a big yes. That sounds good to you guys? Awesome. Well, listen, thank you for your time. I hope you all had at least a semi-productive 20 minutes with me tonight. We're sorry that Adrian, he was planning to be here. It's just his meeting with Shopify got moved, and so now it's a little bit harder for him to have made it here tonight. So I jumped on last minute, figured I'd say hello to everybody anyway and try to steal his whole crowd. You guys all go follow at Anthony Morrison on Instagram and leave comments on my post and say my new favorite mentor. That'll really get under his skin. So all go follow me and leave me comments. Thank you, Anthony. You're so much better than Adrian. This will be great, because I'll text him the screenshot. He will freak out, right? So hit me up on Instagram. It's just at Anthony Morrison. Look for the blue check mark, because there's a lot of fake Anthonys on Instagram that'll try to sell you crypto. So don't buy any crypto from me, because I don't sell crypto, okay? All I do is lose money with crypto. So do not buy crypto from me. So promise you, if I'm trying to sell you crypto, it's one of the fake Anthony profiles. So don't do that, but do follow me and leave me some comments, and we'll play with Adrian a little bit. I'll text it to him and say, hey, look, forget it. Your profit power hour is over. Everybody's coming to my webinars. Otherwise, jump back on next Tuesday, same place, same time. Profit power hour. Adrian will be back. Have a great rest of the week. Look, I always tell my crowd this: do a little something this week that other people are not doing. Put in the extra 30 minutes. Put in the extra hour. Stay ahead of the game. The internet is always changing. There's a lot of people that want it. They want success. You got to outwork them out of the gate, right? Then you can cruise. But when you're new and when you're just getting started and when you don't have a massive, business already running, you got to put in a little bit more time, pay your dues, put in a lot more effort, get ahead of all the other people. Knowledge is power, so accumulate as much as you possibly can and then push it in the direction that you want to push it in for success, right? So work on your stores this week, and Adrian will be back next week right here on the Profit Power Hour, okay? Take care, everybody. Good night.